Hey everyone, it's Judy from Coffee, Cookies, and Books, and what we're going to do today is my very first mid-year freakout. Can't wait to bring it to you and hope you stick around. So wonderful that you're sticking around for this. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go through 15 questions that I've put together from watching all kinds of videos on other people's mid-year freakout. I don't know if it's a freakout, but it's kind of crazy that I've already been doing this now for about 9 months and started in October of last year. And this is my very first mid-year wrap-up. So can't wait to bring this to you. I've got a lot of really great, fun stuff we're going to talk about and great questions we're going to answer. Although, if I'm being honest, I kind of stumbled a bit on some of these questions, and I think it's maybe because this is my first time doing it, and my reading has not been quite as in-depth as it has been over the last 9 months previously. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. But what I did was I actually pulled up all of my stats, so we're going to go through that. But before we get started, I would really love it if you could like and subscribe. Now, I noticed that 75% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. So if you could subscribe, that would be fantastic. I'm trying to work my way to 1,000 subscribers and hoping to get there by the end of the year. So I've got 6 months to do it. So it just got to hang in there and get it done. But I can't do it without all of you. And I really appreciate any of your time that you put into liking my videos. Okay, so let's get started. So we're just going to kind of start with the questions, and it's like, how many books have you read this year? So I thought that I would take the first question on how many books I've read this year and kind of give you my overall stats. So I actually use a spreadsheet that I got from Covers with Cassidy. I took her spreadsheet and I added a few a lot of extra genres, because I do read a little bit more of a spread out type of genre base, and I just wanted to make sure everything was covered. So I made some small changes where that was concerned, but this is her spreadsheet that gives you half-star ratings, which was perfect for me because I kind of prefer the half-star rating. Now, when I do my reviews, I do not give the ratings on my books, but whenever I list the descriptions below, you always have my ratings, and you can always go to my Goodreads to see what I've actually rated the book. So let's start with sort of my my ratings and the total number of books that I've read. So I have read technically 110 books from January to now. I just haven't completed June yet. We are on the last week of June as I'm recording this, and I know I've got at least 1 or 2 more books that are going to get added into that. They're a little on the smaller side, so those will get read. So it says, so as I said, that's between January and February, I read 39, and April, May, and June, I read 71. So I read almost double, and that's because in April, May, and June, I did readathons. So I participated in each month in a different one, and I read significantly a lot more, especially in May when I did escape the readathon. Read a lot of smaller books and tons of them, and I read probably almost half of that 70 I read in May alone. So now when it comes to my star ratings, I gave 16 books 5 stars. A few of those were top tier. We're going to talk about those a little bit later. 4.5 stars I gave to 8 books. 4 stars seems to be my most common one, with 34 in total. 3.5 stars I gave to 7, and then 3 stars I gave to 19. So I would say that I kind of sit, it looks like from about 2.5 stars to about 4 stars is my most common area. And 2.5 stars I gave to 9 books. Now, 2 stars is what I consider very middle of the road. If it's a series, it's questionable if I'm going to continue it or not, but I didn't hate it enough to go below the mid. So, or dislike it. I don't like the word hated. I would say dislike it. 2 stars I gave to 9 books, and 1 star to only 4 books, and that's pretty good. Now, I know that I had some DNFs, so in total I had 11 DNFs out of all of that, and it is what it is. May had the heaviest, and I think that's because I read the most in May, but I can say that I have had none in June that I have DNF. So I'm actually kind of proud of that I didn't DNF them. And now, out of those that I say I DNF'd, it's because I 2 of them I rated as soft DNFs, which one was the Hurricane Wars. I read that and I reviewed it. And the other one is God Blind, and I read that this month and it's going to get reviewed. And so those 2 I did actually end up completing. So they weren't really technically full DNFs. Okay, so I think that's about it. What else do I have here? 6-star ratings. So out of all of that, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 6-star ratings, which I actually think is quite a lot of 6-star ratings. The most of them I had in February. So February was probably my best reading month. But, May I had 2, so I'm going to share those with you. All right, so the next one is how many 5 stars did you have? And I've already answered that. And so, in total, I had, what was it again? 16, 5 and 6 stars are in that 5-star rating total. Okay, so then what were the best books that I read this year? So I actually had quite a few, but I've kind of stuck it to the 6-star ratings, and I've picked the ones that were the best out of the 6-star ratings. So it's not all of them, it's only some of them. And I actually also have a couple of 5-star ones that particularly stood out. So I'm just going to quickly go over them. So the first one, and I tried to give a variation because I didn't want the same, I wanted to give you the ones that were my favorites that from different types. So that's kind of what I've gone with. So the first one is a romance. It's a romantic suspense. This was the last book in a 10-book series by Brittany Sahin. It's called Chasing the Storm. And I have read now all of her books, which was, it's like over 30. I mean, there's a ton of books. But this particular series, I really loved it. And this last book was the best one. Friggin' loved it. It was fantastic. Can't say more about it, but you have to read from the beginning. So you have to read book 1 before you can get to book 10, because you just won't get all of the things that happen in this. You won't be able to appreciate it if you don't start from book 1. So it's the Stealth Ops series, and I do believe she's actually doing a 3rd group eventually that is going to be another offshoot of this, so it'll eventually be a 15-book series. So I can't wait for it. I love her books so much, but I love romantic suspense. That's my favorite out of romance. So that's one of the books I had. Another one is epic fantasy that I just started. Now, the novella that came first before this, it's called The Fall. This is Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. It's the Bound and the Broken series. The novella, it was a 6. It was off the charts 6. It was so bloody good. It was short, it was impactful, and it was a hell of a setup for this. And this is an epic fantasy, little on the dark side, okay? But enjoyed it so much. Can't wait to move on to the next one. I have the next one is up here. It's Of Darkness and Light, and it's in my TBR cards to be pulled hopefully at some point for my TBR. And yeah, this was just so, so, so good. And the novella. And actually I've read one more novella, and I'm halfway through another, because there's 3 novellas that go with it. Oh, the novellas are just as good as the book, if not better, because he packs a punch in those novellas. The other one that I read that I really, really loved is Caliban's War, which is the second book in the Expanse series. I read Leviathan Wakes at the end of last year. Off the charts good. This one was just as good. Loved it so, so much. And the third one I'm reading in July. Very excited to get it. Yeah, fantastic sci-fi series. Can't recommend it enough. Then I read just last month, The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. And this is fantasy, mystery, detective, crime. So it has all those rolled into one. It's brilliant, genius book. Like, yeah. I can't say enough about it. I've reviewed this one. It was in my last review. It was my final, because I did May in 2 parts. It's in the final review for May. And I have A Drop of Corruption, and I'm hoping to get that at some point and read that, which is the next one in the series. Oh my God, it's just so good. It's almost, everybody says it's kind of like a Sherlock and Holmes. And once I read it, I got that reference, because it does kind of, with the two, the main detective and her assistant. Fantastic. So good. Okay, so it's that. And then the last 2 that were my favorites are the 2 from Dungeon Crawler Carl and Carl's Doomsday Scenario. I don't even know what to say about these. The most entertaining books I've ever read. Like 100%. They are so, 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 so good. And yeah, like freaking fantastic. And I have bought, these are not cheap. They've been republished with the new covers. Love the new covers. Some people don't. Some people like the original illustrated covers, which were more the self-published covers. I like those too. I think they're fun, but I love these. I think they are crazy and over the board, and they fit the story so, so well. Anyway, somebody told me that how you know what book it is by the number of skulls that are colored in. I did not know that. And so this one has 1 skull, 1 skull, 2 skulls. Seriously, didn't know that. Anyway, love these books so, so much. Okay, so then what's the best sequel? So that takes me back to Caliban's War. And obviously, you know, Dungeon Crawler Carl goes without saying, but Caliban's War is one. But the other one is, hold on 1 second. The other sequel that I really, really loved was the final book in the Crescent City series. So this is the House of Flame and Shadow. And a lot of people didn't like this book. It was top tier for me. Loved it, 5 stars. Ended the series like fantastic, even though, oh, you know, when I finished it, I wanted more. And that's how I kind of figured it was one of the best for me, because I wanted more. Like I wasn't done. Even though Sarah J. Maas was done with the series, I was not done with the series. Yeah, anyway, freaking loved it so, so much. Okay, so then a new release that came out that you still want to read. So I really, 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 really want to read Sunrise on the Reaping. However, I have not read yet Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So this is on my buzzword reading challenge, and I think it's either, I don't know which one it is, reading or cover challenge, and it's either on, which one is it? Is it my, I think it's the reading challenge, not the cover challenge. Anyways, it's it's like November or December. It's either November or December. So my plan is to read the entire series. I have this beautiful collector's edition of it. Okay, I got this from the secondhand bookstore that I go to. It was literally $30 for this. And, you know, this has sort of the original covers, but it's very much in keeping with this one, and it really, really fits. So I think that, you know, no, this is an awful paperback. It's like reading cardboard, this thing. So I actually think that I might see if I can go to the secondhand bookstore, and if by chance she has the hardback, this on hardback, because I kind of would like it all to sort of match, you know? Yeah, so I have all of these. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I am going to reread the entire series. Oh, this doesn't want to go in. No, we'll do that later. Yes, so what I want to do is I want to reread the entire series, and of course end with the last one, which is the new release that just came out. And so when this comes up in my buzzword reading challenge, all 5 books are going to get read. Yeah, so I think it might be December, and I'm kind of hoping it's December that I have this listed, because in December I'm not doing any challenges. I'm just reading all Christmas books, so this would be the only challenge that I would have for December. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Kind of looking forward to it, because it has been a really long time since I read the original 3 books. Loved those, and so I just want to read the whole series. So that is going to be a reread for me. I do not usually do rereads. Very rare. Very rare. I have one more reread that's coming up on the Buzzword Challenge, and that's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I want to reread the first book and then read the next 2 in the series. So that's the only other reread that I'm doing, and that's because that is a very complicated book. Very complicated, and I know that as it goes in, it gets deeper into the complications. There's political, financial, there's like the situation with Elizabeth. So I want to reread the first one so that I'm prepared for the other 2. Anyway, getting off track here. Let's go on to the next question, which is, what's my most anticipated book for 2025? So my most anticipated, I have 3 that I'm really looking forward to. And they're all connected to series. So the first one is A Tour to Die For by Michelle Chouinard. This is the second book in the Serial Killer Guide to San Francisco series. I read the first one just a month or 2 ago. Freaking loved it. And so I have this one on pre-order and will be getting it. Very much looking forward to that one. Then What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher is the 3rd book in the Sworn Soldier series. I've read the first 2. I read those in May, so very much looking forward to that. I have that on pre-order. And then the last one is Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree, which is the 3rd one in the Legend and Latte series. Really looking forward to this one. Just, you know, Legend and Lattes I liked, but Bookshops and Bone Dust I loved. Okay, loved it. And the main character, one of the main characters from Bookshops and Bone Dust is actually being brought back in Brigands and Bread Knives, and I can't wait for that, because it kind of ties the 2 books together in this next one. So very much looking forward to that. Okay, so the biggest disappointment that I had this year. Yeah. This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. I've had a few disappointments, but this one in particular, because I really was super looking forward to the book. Now, when I reviewed it, I did say that I felt like maybe it was me that was the problem, because it was kind of fizzling out a bit by the time I got to this one. So I'm going to reread it again, and I'm going to reread it when I have a bit of a lighter load, as far as not too many thrillers on the books. I might even reread it in July, August, because I do want to reread it. I just felt fell flat, really flat for me, and I was so much looking forward to it. So I do have another one from her that I just purchased from the book outlet sale. So it's going to come in when I do my book haul. You'll see that one, and I think it's midnight hour or something like that. So I want to go back and read this first again. Yeah, so that was kind of like my disappointment. Then the next question is, what was my biggest surprise for the year? And that was Bookshops and Bone Dust. And I didn't get that down, so I'll put the cover up for you. You know, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I'm being perfectly honest. I thought that it would be, you know, but oh my gosh, I liked it so much. And yeah, it just, Legend and Lattes with like a 3 now. Bookshops and Bone Dust was 4.5, 5, not quite a 5, but pretty freaking close. And yeah, I really liked that one. So the other one that really surprised me was Dungeon Crawler Carl. I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. This was like 6-star and up. It was like shooting for a 10, okay? And I didn't expect, honestly, I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to try it. But I've never read anything like it. I've never read it, like, ever. And wasn't sure how I'd feel about it. But, you know, I knew it had kind of a bit of a sci-fi blend to it, and that it had a comedic feel, and, you know, obviously a bit fantasy. And I loved the idea of the cat being in there. And, yeah, fantastic. Love that one. Okay, so new favorite author. Well, again, Matt Dinniman, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Absolutely new favorite author. It's like, I want to buy, have I bought all of them? I don't think I've bought all of them. I think I have one more, which is the 6th one, and the 7th one is not out yet. I think it's on pre-order. I have it on pre-order. So I think the 6th one's the only one I haven't gotten yet. Oh, yeah, love them so much. So, okay, now, new fictional crush. I'm kind of too old for a crush. But if I had to pick, I really like the captain, which is it Holden? I think it's Holden. Yeah, James Holden. Love him. I don't know what it is about him. I just really like his character. He kind of, you know, it attracts me because he's not perfect, but attractive in my mind, you know. So that's kind of it. I mean, as far as romances are concerned, I read them, I love them, but I don't think of them as book boyfriends. And I think, you know, I'm going to be 65 in 6 months. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of beyond that a little bit, but doesn't mean I can't appreciate them, but certainly do. Okay, the most beautiful books. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I'm skipping through all of these. We cannot do that. New favorite character, and that is definitely Princess Donut. She's little here. She actually kind of appears a little bit more on the second cover. She's more of a main character here on the second cover. And let me tell you, there's nothing like a talking cat, okay? Now, this month in June, which I'm doing right now, almost over, I'm doing the Amazing Readathon. And one of the challenge questions was, if you could pick a bunkmate from all of the characters that you read at a camp, who would you choose? and I picked Princess Donut, okay? Because she's the jam. It's like you see and you feel the character, and then you know that the character's a cat. And then you put those two things together, and it's just like phenomenal. Love her to death. And anyway, so I loved that, and I thought that was pretty funny. So, okay. So now, what's the book that made you cry? Now, I just read this. Have not reviewed it yet. Beartown by Frederick Bachman. And I don't cry at books. It's like very rare that I cry at a book. But the story is emotional. You cannot read this and come away feeling all good about it, because you can't, yeah. Like, there's nothing nice about this story. It is heavily emotional. And I didn't know if I was going to like it. And I will explain that when I do my reviews on how I felt about it. But it was very, very good, very emotional, and thoroughly enjoyed that. You know, it's like I don't get overly emotional. Now, I mean, like, kind of as an example, there are certain things that will tug at my emotions, like even in Carl's doomsday scenario, there is a point where and this might be a tiny bit of a spoiler for the book, but he has to go in and he has to face this, you know, NPC or this bad guy, whatever. And it's at a carnival. And he's going through, in his mind, his first time at a carnival was with his mother. And as he goes through those things, it's kind of an emotional thing for him. And you don't get you don't get that in the first book. You don't get any of that really in the first book. And even in the second book, right at the end, there's a comment that Princess Donut makes. And you know what she's referring to. And there's like just little things like that. And those things are the things that choke me up and get me kind of, you know, a little bit sad. But, you know, you can't stay sad in a book like Carl's Doomsday scenario. Anyway, so now let's talk about most beautiful books. So I recently started Fragile Sanctuary, and I read that last month, and I loved this book. And then I bought Delicate Escape, which is the second book. And I think they're the most beautiful covers. Like, they're stunning covers. And I looked at, now the e-cover has two people a little bit right in like this area right here. And I wouldn't have minded that either, but even without that, I think they're gorgeous. Now, this particular one has the sprayed edges on it. I don't really care. It doesn't make it any better. I mean, honestly, you know, it's flappy books, easy to read, love them. That's why I like paperbacks, but I think they're the prettiest paperbacks. And this one, like they have, this one doesn't have it as much as this. This one seems to be a little bit more like sparkly. And yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful cover. So love that. Then the other prettiest book I probably own in my whole collection is Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. I just got this one, and I think it's stunningly pretty. One of the prettiest books I've ever owned. So it's got these gorgeous sprayed edges to it. Inside it looks like this, which is just so pretty. Back cover, I think, is exactly the same as the front one. Yeah, it's exactly the same. But yeah, I just think it's just like, the book is beautifully done, and I think the pages are a nice weight so that when you're reading it, you know, it'll split open, and it's got this really pretty diagram on the front and spine. So super, super, just like the prettiest book I own. Because I don't buy books for how they look, but this one was what was available on Amazon. So that was what I purchased, and I think it's gorgeous, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I haven't read it yet. Okay, so it says, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I have some challenges. We'll just quickly go over them. I have my 25 must-reads for 2025. I don't think I have very many left on those. So I think I have 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of them are on my challenge for July. So I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more books to read out of my 25 must-reads for 2025. I'll put them up here. And the one I'm leaving for the end is Heat by Penn Cole, because I'm hoping that we get a delivery time on the final book, and I'm not going to read this 3rd one until the final book comes out. So that may not get read this year, because it's going to depend on the final book. And if the final book doesn't come out, then the other one that's on there is Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, but that's also on one of my reading challenges, which we're going to talk about. So that's going to be there too. And then Bad Blood, which is the last one in the Natural series, that will get read. And probably that'll get read in August, and that series will be done, because the 3rd one I'm reading in July. And then Wall Dies by Elsie Silver. So that's the other one that needs to get read. And yeah, so, and then my 25 must-reads for 2025 will be done, which I think that's really great. Then I have my 2 buzzword challenges. So I'll put them up, one on either side. So we've got, we'll put the reading challenge over here, and so you can see what I have left. I only have 4 books left. The Killer Instinct I already read, which was the 2nd book in the Natural series. The last one read, so I only have 4 books left to read in the buzzword cover challenge, going through to December. And so this is where Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is the very last book. So it is December that I'm going to be reading that whole pile for the Hunger Games series. And then the cover challenge, which is up here. So I have 5 books left in that challenge. And one of them is, it looks like Elsie Silver's Wall Dies is on there. That'll get read ahead. That one's going to get finished ahead of December, because I don't really want to read it in December. I actually want to read it sooner, because for December I just want to read my Christmas reads plus the Hunger Games one. So that is my challenges. So that's it, actually, for the mid-year freakout. That's where I'm at. I don't know if I missed anything. I don't think I did, but if there's anything you'd like to know, I would love it if you could leave a comment and let me know if you've got any questions about anything I've read. That would be fantastic. Again, like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, so June's almost over. So my June review won't be coming out until probably mid-July, I think, at this point, somewhere in around there. And in between, I'll be dropping some smaller book hauls. I'm sectioning them off by book, by type. So there'll be 5 different categories, and I'm doing 5 smaller videos, and I can't wait to bring those to you too. And I'm just going to drop them here and there whenever the mood strikes me. So we shall see you hopefully in our next video, and I hope you enjoyed this one.